Hey Froggy friends, Kirostyle here. Welcome back to Unicorn Overlord. Thank you so much for joining me here on stream. For those of you joining me live, this is a continuation of the previous video on stream, but if you're watching this on YouTube, I decided to put this one into its own video. Last time we finished all the rest of the reports in the game, starting with the Drakengard one, so from Virginia all the way to the end to Amalia. We also did one battle that I apparently missed, which was right over here to unlock the Mont Libre Church. Now we're all set. So the last thing we need to do in this game is get married, because to get the best ending of the game, you need to have completed the rite of the Unicorn and Maiden and visited all the Sanctuaries before doing the final battle. So we're gonna do that now. And before we do, I want to talk a little bit about the rite of the Unicorn and Maiden. So the rite of the Unicorn and Maiden is basically the marriage part of the game. You pick one character, they need to have max rapport with Elaine, which I do with everyone, and present the ring to them. And depending on who it is, some of them are a little bit more romancy than others. Some of them are, like, especially the male ones are more on the platonic side, or you get ones with, like, Joseph, who's, like, a little bit more of, like a fatherly figure, so it's more of, like, a paternal kind of thing. Now, originally I wasn't going to even do the rite of the Unicorn and Maiden, or I was going to do it and then not save. Kind of like I did when I played Fire Emblem Engage. But because I need to do it to get the good ending, I'm going to do it. Now, I found out that it's actually not irreversible, strangely enough. Basically, once you finish the game, once you finish the final quest, Unicorn Overlord, there is an option, apparently, again, this is just from what I read, where you can come back and just redo the rite of the Unicorn and Maiden with another character. And it just undoes the previous one. You can imagine how funny that might sound canonically, if you think about it canonically in the game. But basically it means that you can redo your decision if you think you made a mistake, or if you did it too hastily, or if you picked someone that you don't like, or you found someone else that you like more. You could do that. Now, now let me go on a little rant here. Couple of rants. Now, when I was playing Unicorn Overlord, and also Fire Emblem Engage, and other games like that have like a dating or a marriage mechanic, like a lot of times I would get like first time chatters coming in, and the first thing they would say is like, "Who'd you marry? Or who are you gonna marry?" Like that was like the all important encompassing question. And I get it, for a game that allows an option like marriage, I can see why that would be a pertinent question, and I guess seeing who someone picks also is kind of like indicative of their personality, I suppose, or one way of trying to find out more about the person that the streamer that you're watching, for example. But I always find it kind of weird when people just come in and the immediate first question is like, "Who'd you marry?" Right? Especially even when, like, it's not like you could wait till the end of the game to do it too. Or when people like ask me questions like Kiro, who names some characters that are your husbandos or whatever, like, and I think if you guys have watched me for a while, you kind of know, like, I don't really use the word husbando, and I don't really fall for fictional characters. That's just not my thing. There's characters I like. There's characters I like from a design standpoint. There's characters I like their personality. There's characters I like their or I'm inspired by their character, but I don't really fall in love with fictional characters. Not that there's anything wrong with that, don't get me wrong, it's totally fine, and I think it's normal too. Well, it's normal among us denizens of the internet, I think. I think if you ask like a normie, maybe they would think it's weird. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I don't fall in love with fictional characters. And there's a couple big reasons for that. And like just me personally, like a big thing for me when I find someone I like is it's in huge part personality more than appearance. And that means I need to really get to know someone. I'm one of those types of people, right? And so I don't get that from a fictional character. I don't get to really know them that well. We just get to see what they present to us, which is fine. That's what the point of the medium is. But I don't get to really know them on a level that I end up falling in love with them. And even if I could, I don't think I would find one, because some of the traits that I enjoy in people are things that a fictional character could never give me. Like, for example, I like making original characters and telling stories. I like hearing other people's original characters and hearing their stories and exchanging stories like that. I can't do that with a fictional character, right? Or I enjoy people that like the same things as I do, like the same video games I do, the same anime that I do, the same leisurely activities that I do. And I can't get that from a fictional character because, I mean, obviously, fictional characters usually don't play video games or watch anime of their own, right? So just to me, I never find that connection. And I know that when people, say that they fall in love with a fictional character, like sometimes, it's half in jest, right? We know that people aren't completely serious about it, but, I just can't bring myself to feel that way, which is totally fine if you do. I just want to explain why, I don't display that kind of fangirling, I guess I would say, over fictional characters, personally. That's just me. Now, the other reason why I don't like to get married in video games, especially when there's lots of choices, is because I don't know how to word this. I wouldn't say indecisive. It's more like because if you have, let's say this game has, I don't know how many characters, like 60, 70 characters? It's a lot. And that means that when I marry one person, I am locked out of all the cutscenes from everyone else, right? So as a not a completionist, but as a person who might want to fall back and change my mind or watch other cutscenes, I don't like committing to that. And in this game, it's fine because apparently you can go back and redo the Rite of the Unicorn, whatever you want, or you can keep a save file, right, before you do it. But in games like, let's say, for example, Fire Emblem Awakening, once you get married, there's actually a lot of stuff you can do in the game, right? Like, you have kids and you raise the kids as units, and then, if I pick someone and I have the kid with them and then I raise them as a unit in the game, that's time investment, and then I won't want to go back to the previous save point and redo the marriage and redo the kid thing again, right? For the sake of completion. Plus, that game also logs all your support conversations, and I want to maybe not be a completionist about it, but at least have the option to be completionist about it, which I don't get if I lock myself out of the other ones. So it's more of a completionist thing. Same with Fire Emblem Engage, like I would present the ring to someone, watch the cutscene, and then reload the save file because I want to be able to see the other cutscenes at my leisure if I ever want it. So another part of me is also because I just want to be able to have access to all the content in the game. And marriage is like usually a one-time thing in these games. The third reason why I don't usually get married in games is because a lot of times, unless your character here is a completely silent protagonist that you project onto, I also want to consider, as strange as it may sound, I also want to consider the character's feelings, right? So Elaine is not a silent protagonist. Neither is, well, like Robin from Fire Emblem, or Alir from Fire Emblem. Like, even though you get to name your character and customize some of their appearance, they're not actually self-inserts, although some people write them to be or imagine them to be. They're characters with their own personalities, right? And so I'm not always looking for a character that I want to marry in the game. Sometimes I'm looking for a character that I think would be a good match for the character you play as, right? Which sometimes, the game kind of, has the main female protagonist like Scarlet, where they're kind of trying to hint towards that a little bit too much. But let me give you an example. So in Fire Emblem Awakening, right? I like a number of the characters, but I don't like any of them enough to marry. And plus, the game doesn't let you marry same sex anyway, so it's, limited choices in that sense. But in that game, you can also marry all the other characters to each other. And then there's actually a strategy to that because you get kids, and the kids' hair colors change depending on that, and their stats change depending on that. So some people go for, like, the optimal build in order to make the perfect children in that game, which I know sounds awful, like getting the best stat combinations by pairing all the people up properly, right? Or some people just want the kids to have the right hair color, which I'm kind of partial to because the kids kind of have canonical hair colors, which is basically just the color of the parent that they're linked to, which means that you want all the parents to marry people of similar hair colors, which is kind of funny. But it also meant that because those games have only some characters can get married, and your character can get married, if you marry one of those characters, it means someone else gets left out. So in Fire Emblem Awakening, if I had to choose someone to marry that was female, because I play as a male Robin, I guess I would pick Church, or Surge in the Japanese version, or I don't know if you're supposed to say Churche in the English version because there's no accent on the E, so I'll say Church, whatever. I think I would pick her, but all her conversations with her are just about her and her dragon and her friendship with her dragon, so not really that interesting of a conversation, but if I had to pick someone, I would pick her. But then the problem is, well, I mean, bonus, it also means Jerome is one of your kids, along with Morgan, and I like Jerome. Problem is that means that if I married her, someone else is going to be left, one of the other guys in the game is going to be left without a marriage option, right? And usually, I would pair her with Gregor. Not because I think they're good together, but because he's kind of the only one left, and he also makes it so Jerome has orange hair, which works better, because Jerome's supposed to have, like, pinkish hair. And because the saddest part is that if Gregor doesn't marry anyone, his ending in the game is actually really sad. It says that he loses himself to excess in his, like, you know, alcohol and his cups. Which is really sad if he doesn't marry anyone. But if he marries someone in the game, his ending becomes he loses himself in his cups, but then his wife somehow reminds him something about life and then reignites him to live a better life or something like that, right? So which means that if I left him alone, he would be miserable. So I would feel bad for him. So then I wouldn't want to marry Church because then I want him to be with Church. Hey, Kiro from the future here. I was watching back the video and my story about Fire Emblem Awakening, and I realized that I actually mistold it, so I need to correct myself here. Now, I said that I got Church to marry Gregor, so that we can have an orange-haired Jerome, and also because Gregor gets a bad ending if he doesn't marry anyone. Now, that's partially true. So, Gregor, yes, indeed, if he doesn't marry anyone, his ending is kind of a downer ending. But I actually didn't have Church marry Gregor, now that I think about it. I actually had Gregor marry Cordelia so that I could have an orange-haired Severa, because orange is kind of close enough to the red hair she's supposed to have, and it also means that her class as a mercenary makes sense because her father's a mercenary. So I actually had Gregor pair with Cordelia. I actually had Church pair with Gaius to have an orange-haired Jerome, so he still had orange hair. And I think the reason why I myself didn't have my Robin marry Church, even though Church is my favorite female character in the game, I think. Well, my favorite male character in the game, other than Chrom, is probably Gaius, and by virtue of pairing everyone else up in the game, Church and Gaius were the only ones left, and therefore would be paired together, and it worked because I think Gaius works as a good father for Jerome, and also Jerome gets a good hair color out of it, and two of my favorite characters get paired together. So I didn't want my Robin to marry Church, because that would rob Gaius of being happy with her. It would also mean that Gaius would be left alone, and I didn't want that for him because I liked him as a character. So basically, I didn't marry Church because I prioritized Gaius's happiness over my Robin's happiness. So that's how the story actually went. My Gregor was actually with Cordelia. I guess I got mixed up because it's been a long time since I played that game, and because my Jerome had orange hair and I couldn't remember who else had orange hair when I was telling the story on stream. I also think it's kind of fun. Like, I like Tharja in the game only because I think she's hilarious, and because I kind of like the gloomy girls. Obviously, though, she is a very problematic character and not someone you'd actually want to marry, but she's, like, obsessed with Robin, right? And I wouldn't want Robin to marry Tharja, but I think it'd be hilarious, but also horrible. And also, I don't really like Noir, sorry. So, you know, I wouldn't want to marry her either, even though she's, like, I think one of the more interesting female characters in that game. Anyways, I guess my point is, like, 1, I don't fall in love with fictional characters. 2, I like the option to go back and watch whatever cutscenes I want. And 3, I like trying to find characters to match with the main character. So that being said, we have a lot of options here. I think if I had to pick someone that I like, that I think would also work for Elaine, my picks would be Lex. I'm such a sucker for the best friend thing. And I also like Travis. I think Travis is one of my favorite characters in the game, but I think I like Travis and Lex almost equally. I think between the two of them, Lex is a better fit for Elaine, because the best friend angle. And Travis is too busy with the Tricorns, right? I want him to hang out with Bruno and Berengaria and all them. So he has his own thing. So I think I have to go with Lex, personally. What other characters I like? I like Chloe. I like Adel. Pretty cool. I like, let's see. I like Tatiana, but not as like a marriage material, but more like I just like that she's an interesting character. I like Berengaria. I think she's a badass. I think Magellan's very handsome, but I don't really think much of his personality because he doesn't get too many conversations. Actually, I kind of come to like Gilbert too. He's pretty cool, but I don't see the royalty thing working out. Athelian's cool, and Lagos is cool. Not characters I'm strongly attached to, though. I like Sinatio's design, but the way his personality is fine, but the way his role in the story is very not very good. I thought I would like Fidokia, but he turned out a bit different than I thought he would. And Amalia is just cool. So yeah, so I have my two save files here. One before marriage, one after. We're gonna marry Lex. Not you, Rosalinda. I know you're just introducing it to me.
The same altar I saw in our texts. The ring, Elaine.
No, Rosalinda. Is this a trap? Is this a trap? I don't know. I almost feel like Elta-Linda is more canonical than Scarlet, too, based on how all her conversations went with Elaine. Probably, like, the most amount of flirting.
Looks like I was right.
What do I do next?
Come back here with the person you've chosen for the rite. Offer them the Ring of the Maiden, and you're done. That is, if they accept. Doing so should unleash the power stored deep within your own ring. But
is there more?
The covenant between Unicorn and Maiden requires both sides to be of one mind and one heart. If either betrayed the pact they swear at this altar, they would face terrible consequences.
You say that, but apparently I could just undo it whenever I want.
At least, according to the texts.
I'll have to keep that in mind. You're a little close, Rosalinda.
Rosalinda, I'm not picking you, so you can just back off.
Is there someone you're thinking of asking? Considering the risk, I'd suggest you give the ring to the person you trust most. Or the elf.
Excuse me? Head back to the altar once you've made up your mind. Elaine can only perform the rite of covenant with an ally he bears a deep and profound connection with. You know, maybe I'll save here, just so that I don't have to watch that cutscene again. In case I want to see other ones. There's all my characters. So people have posted these on YouTube, and I haven't watched them, but I do know that, like, a lot of the characters' reactions are different from each other's. Like, some of them treat it like it's an actual marriage, and some of them write it off as like a joke, and some of them act very sheepish about it, and some of them just act as if it's very platonic. So it kind of depends. Your mileage may vary.
Let me guess. Lady Troubles? You called the right guy.
Oh, actually, sorry, I think there's been a mistake. Well, that's actually kind of funny. It's also kind of funny that the ring you give them is called the Ring of the Maiden, but you can give it to a guy. Like, they couldn't have picked, like, a gender-neutral, like, I don't know, the Ring of the Saint, or the Ring of the Savior, or something like that. Actually, what happens if I do say this? I'm actually really curious.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake.
And here I was looking forward to some real man talk. Well, I'll be here whenever you want a second opinion.
Some real man talk. Okay, Lex. Whatever you say. Hey, here's the real one.
Let me guess. Lady Troubles? You called the right guy.
I'd like you to have the Ring of the Maiden.
Sure you do. You think this is funny?
Sorry, I'm sorry, but I do mean it. From everything I've heard, it seems these rings grow stronger based on the depth of their bearer's bond.
All that, and you're wasting it on me. No wonder you've got the love life of a doorknob.
Listen to me, Lex. You once said you were prepared to lay down your life if it meant guaranteeing my survival. Yet, to be perfectly honest, I'd rather die than suffer the loss of my greatest friend. But I admit, you've grown strong. Almost impossibly so. So this time, promise me that we'll live on. Together.
I don't know what to say. Though I guess I'm doing something right, huh?
I've always thought so. You simply never realized it yourself.
Shucks. And yeah, you're always a ton better. A lot less dying, too.
Then we'll swear to it. Here.
Whoa. That do it?
So it would seem.
I'm not so sure about this maiden thing, though. You want to trade?
And there we have it. That awkward laugh from Elaine was so funny. Hey Rosalinda, were you watching? Thus the ring has been restored to its true power. I'm sure will help when the time comes to face Galerius. Oh, Scarlet, were you also watching? Let's head for the Sanctuaries, Elaine. I'm sure the sages will lend us their strength now that the ring is restored to its true power. Let's look at our new items. So, Ring of the Maiden, base PP +1, all stats +5. Ring of the Unicorn, base AP +1, all stats +5. Okay, they don't have any other effects. Now, I thought that was sweet. I know a lot of people expressed, is anger the right word? Or disappointment when, yes, you could pick, like, same-sex Ring of the Maiden and Unicorn, but yet the cutscenes turned out to be more platonic. And I could understand people's frustration with that, because, I mean, queer baiting is definitely a thing, right? But personally, I'm okay with it, because I'd be fine if every single cutscene with the Ring of the Unicorn and Maiden was platonic. Just to, you know, leave it to your imagination how you want to imagine the character's relationship. I'd be perfectly fine with that, but I do get people's gripes with it as well. Apparently some of the other ones are kind of funny too. Like I heard like people were saying like Selvi's was funny too, because she like writes it off as a joke or something like that, or thinks it's some kind of experiment. So I guess maybe I'm gonna have to watch some of these either on my own or on YouTube in the future. So now we need to bring to all the sanctuaries. There's 1 in each country, but 2 in Cornea. Okay. Oh, and they're marked on my map already as red. Okay, sweet. Let's start with this one then. Well, this one's considered the Zenoiran one. Okay, let's start with the one that's considered the Cornea one then. Alright, this is where we save Scarlet.
I'll start by offering a prayer to the Sanctuary.
Aw, Lex doesn't even get to participate in these scenes. That's a bit disappointing.
Here is the ring of the unicorn. Present its grandeur before me.
To be honest, I completely forgot this Great Sage character even existed. It's been so long since we talked to him.
So the ring is restored at last. You have done well.
If I may ask a question, you said that if we wish to match Galerius' might, we would first need to unbind the ring's power. But I wonder, why did you bid us return here after?
That I may bestow upon you the power of cleansing, accumulated within these walls over the passing of centuries.
Do you imply the renewed ring is not enough to defeat him?
It is not. If you wish to bring such events to bear, you must usher the souls of Zenoira's people to their long-awaited salvation.
The Zenoira of old was an ancient kingdom, said to have fallen in a single cursed night. What do its denizens have to do with this?
The night you allude to was that of failed ceremony, one in which they relinquished their corporeal forms. For countless years they suffered in discarnate agony, consigned to merely watch as a new world sprung forth from their own. As you may expect, the weaker-hearted among them succumbed first to madness, then to an unyielding, rabid lust for evil.
Is this like Baltro's backstory?
'Tis only by the power of the Sanctuaries that such wicked souls were put to slumber, sealed away in a realm known solely as the Beyond.
And Galerius used me and my father to break that seal.
Quite so. He has torn open a seam between the land of the living and that of the dead.
Okay, so that's how they get like the dead people to possess the mind-controlled bodies of the living.
A seam through which he shall unite their beings, till neither one is distinct from the other.
Then we know now what Galerius seeks. To resurrect the souls of ancient Zenoira.
Should he succeed, this world will be met with grave disaster. Yet that is why our sanctuaries exist. Make use of our strength and bring eternal salvation to the souls of the lost. Now, the power of cleansing housed within these sacred grounds will prove a great boon in the battle ahead. Your will is mine own, righteous Prince of Cornea.
The ring's gotten stronger, Elaine. I can feel it.
Ringbearer, the sanctuaries of Fevreth further seek your call. Deliver your presence unto each in turn, that we may aid you when the fated time arrives.
Good night, Lork. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream. I appreciate it. What brilliant light. Oh, I got a sword. Affliction immunity heals 20% HP when using active skill. Look, the power of cleansing has taken physical form. It looks to be quite an impressive armament as well. One which we must be sure to make proper use of. Now then, we've still 5 sanctuaries remaining. Let us be off. You know, like, only now they're kind of sort of, like, alluding to Galerius's, motivations. But, honestly, like, we've encountered Baltro a few times traveling around, but we haven't really seen Galerius since we rescued Scarlet. I wish he was a bit more present as a villain. Even though, arguably, I guess Baltro is kind of the villain. Wait, I need to get to this shore. Wait, that part of the map isn't mapped yet. I haven't been there yet. Can I go from... Well, this... I don't think this harbor brings me there. Well, that brings me to Pistorius. No, not station guard. I don't think this is the right one. No. Pretty sure I've gotten here before. I'm pretty sure there's like a passageway. Oh, I bet it's through here. Gilbert said he's unlocked the gate for us. We should have no trouble passing through. Oh, I've never actually been here before. Map the area first. Squeeze out every little percentage I can for the Fevrith Atlus. Oh, hey, Berengaria. Why are you joining us? Where's Lex?
Crying, Berengaria, but why have you asked to join us here?
Baltro, I want to know more about the man who thinks he can tamper with other people's minds. I have a few other questions for this sage of yours, too.
I'll start by offering a prayer to the Sanctuary.
He who bears the ring of the Unicorn, present its grandeur before me.
You're not the same sage.
Excellent.
Hope you're in the explaining mood, Sage. There's a sorcerer working with Galerius. Goes by the name Baltro. What can you tell me about him?
The man was a true prodigy, if ever one has deserved the title. His aptitude for magic was, in a word, peerless. A gift he employed with little concern for sense or morals. 'Twas through that disregard that he birthed arts as magnificent as they were monstrous. The rite of channeling chief among them.
Is that how the devil still lives? By possessing the body of another?
Baltro himself has no need of such trickery. While the lost souls of ancient Zenoira's people have long stood confined within the sacred grounds of the Sanctuaries, Baltro has remained in the realm of the living, sustaining his twisted physical form for centuries upon end.
The lone survivor of a fallen empire. But if those souls have been locked away, how exactly was he able to summon them?
With the crystal of transference, of course. A potent medium capable of circumventing the barred gate to the beyond. Once the desired soul was summoned, he wielded the rite of channeling to convey it into a yet living host. 'Tis a feat, I presume, only possible for a man of Baltro's infernal aptitude.
Crystals of transference.
I can't say I've ever heard of them myself.
I bet they're real tough to come by. Otherwise, he'd have brought back the whole damn empire by now.
You make a good point.
I've got one more question for you, Sage. This armor I'm wearing, it's not the only set. There was another up in Albion recovered from the Sanctuary when Zenoira first started knocking. Way I hear, it was the Pontifex who found it, gave it to a guy named Nigel not long after.
Oh, okay, so that explains why Nigel was wearing that, despite not being a direct general of Zenoira.
So, I was wondering, this place have any old gear you're looking to part ways with?
Alas, all armaments stored within these walls have long since been evacuated. Yet the power of cleansing remains pure and true. Grasp it tight, and it shall surely bring you succor in the days to come.
Firmly grasp it.
Your will is mine own, righteous Prince of Cornea.
The ring's gotten stronger, Elaine. I can feel it.
Ringbearer, the Sanctuaries of Fefrith further seek your call. Deliver your presence unto each in turn, that we may aid you when the fated time arrives.
They could at least have the person I picked stand with me in the cutscene, even if they don't say anything. What brilliant light! I got an axe. She just told me that there were no armaments, though. Look, the power of cleansing has taken physical form. It looks to be quite an impressive armament as well, one which we must be sure to make proper use of. Now then, we still have 4 sanctuaries remaining. Let us be off. See, like, I'm not so sure I like the whole, like, info dumping everything on you. I mean, I realize that you can visit these sanctuaries and get married as soon as you finish Elheim, so you could, like, space it out among your playthrough of the game, but I think most people would just do it near the end. But I get it, the way the game's laid out, because you can kind of choose which country to go to, even though all the countries do have, like, suggested levels for their fights, and they do progress upwards, you know, Cornea, Drakenhold, Elheim, Pistorius, Albion, but it still does give you the freedom to go wherever you want, so I think that's why they structured it this way. I think this town's the closest. Oh, maybe not. Oh, maybe so. It's been a while since I've come here.
Apologies for asking this of you, Elaine. It's merely that I'd like to make an inquiry regarding the nature of these sanctuaries.
Please, your presence is more than welcome. We'll ask the sage together.
I'll start by offering a prayer to the sanctuary. He who bears the ring of the unicorn, present its grandeur before me. Beside you stands the Turanos of Elheim. The ring of the unicorn would remain ever bound were it not for you, or for your ancestors, who conveyed the rite of covenant through a great many generations. For that, you have my utmost gratitude. 'Tis a kindness I scarcely deserve, O wise sage. But if I may, I wish to ask a question of you. For what purpose were these sanctuaries constructed? To house errant, wandering souls, those of the fallen Zenoiran Empire.
Are you sure it wasn't to house exposition?
Yet that raises another question still. How is it that Zenoira met with ruin? 'Twas an act of hubris immeasurable. In search of the forbidden gift of immortality, their sorcerers made sacrifice of a divine being, the great and noble unicorn.
Such vile disregard for the natural world.
Indeed. And greed only drove them further from their own humanity. Amidst the slaughter, they sought to elicit the creature's purifying energy, and in so doing, break free of the shackles of mortality. Yet the cleansing fires of the unicorn glow impossibly bright, violent in their rejection of vice and villainy. For the wicked-hearted to harness such a power as their own would be a contradiction of its very purpose. 'Twas a miscalculation of the most fatal ilk. With the beast's dying embers, the fury of the unicorn struck Zenoira's people. Their skin burned, their flesh was rent from their bodies, and their souls were condemned to wander for the rest of eternity.
That does sound pretty unpleasant.
How horrible. 'Twas the greatest irony, then, that the rite proved a success in the end. From the ashes of tragedy rose but one survivor. A single girl, capable of communion with the divine unicorn her countrymen had so cruelly defiled. Aside the Pontifex of Albion and the elven Turanos, she set forth to deliver peace to the restless souls of Zenoira's citizens.
So the one survivor wasn't... that she's talking about here was not Balcho.
A venture which saw them construct 6 sanctuaries spread through every land of Fevrith.
Oh, Reisna! Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for dropping by. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Let me write you a shout out. Please go check out Reisna. She's an amazing streamer. She plays all sorts of games, including Final Fantasy XIV and retro RPGs. She's also a raider in Final Fantasy XIV, so you know she's good. She's got a very pretty model based on her Final Fantasy XIV character, but more elegant and powerful than ever before. Please go check her out. And she's also really kind and has a great community, so please go check her out. Thank you so much for dropping by, Reisna. Hope you had a good time today. Were you playing FF14 or were you playing .hack? Hope you had a good time with Reisna, everyone. Welcome in. Hey, Dreamy Yuma-chan. Welcome, and thank you so much for the bit. I really appreciate it. We're playing some Unicorn Overlord here. I'm Kiro, the frog-themed martial artist, and we are doing some exposition here near the end of the game before we head off into the final battle, which we will not be doing today. You're having fun? That sounds great, Reisna. Feel free to sit back and relax or go take care of yourself after your stream. I really appreciate it. And for on any of those people coming in, if you have a Final Fantasy XIV character, I'm actually doing a kind of community event in the next 2 weeks. If you would like to submit your Final Fantasy XIV characters, we will do an OC stream where we basically talk about them, compliment them, discuss how awesome they are, and then we'll do a fun little tier listing of them. But feel free to share that around. I'll put the link in the chat. Thanks for the raid.
Upon its completion, she rallied those loyal to her cause and founded a new nation, Cornea, of which she would become the first queen. And with the spirits of her brethren pacified at last, she relinquished the power she had never once wished to receive. 'Twas then that it was severed in twain, each half laid into a sacred relic, symbolic of her tale.
The ring of the unicorn.
And that of the maiden.
Then the reason this ring answers to me alone is the royal blood flowing through my veins.
Quite so. Your heart is that of the unicorn, fated to commune with a maiden true and fair. A destiny which culminated in the rite of covenant and the subsequent unbinding of the ring's true form. Now, the power of cleansing housed within these grounds will prove a great boon in the battle ahead. You need only accept its grace. Your will is mine own, righteous Prince of Cornea.
The ring's gotten stronger, Elaine. I can feel it.
Ringbearer, the sanctuaries of Fevrith further seek your call. Deliver your presence unto each in turn, that we may aid you when the fated time arrives.
Okay, we got another upgrade. And another weapon, I presume. What brilliant light! I got a spear. Look, the power of cleansing has taken physical form. It looks to be quite an impressive armament as well, one which you must be sure to make proper use of. Now then, we've still 3 sanctuaries remaining. Let us be off. Okay, next up, Pistorius. This one's like all the way over here, right? Yeah. It's a good thing we fixed those bridges. And I gotta go down here. Oh, more Odin and Unifi join us.
Sorry for making you drag us along like this.
Please, there's nothing to apologize for. I take it you have a question to ask.
Oh, are they gonna talk about, like, their history?
We want to see if this sage knows anything about the blue. It's the only reason we even got in here, so...
I'll start by offering a prayer to the Sanctuary.
He who bears the ring of the Unicorn, present its grandeur before me.
I'm so glad these scenes are voiced.
You've accomplished much, Ring-bearer.
My voice is kind of tired from reading all those report conversations we did for the last 4.5 hours.
'Tis no easy feat crossing a nation bound in the harshest of winters.
I don't mean to interrupt, wise sage, but I was wondering if you could answer something for us. What exactly is the Pistorius Blue?
You refer to the azure stone on your person, yes? It is magic made crystal, cultivated by the elves of yore. Long ago, when their kind still called Bastorius home.
There were elves here?
That era too saw Zenoira's reign encroach upon every region of Fevris. The elves to the south, secure behind Ervelda's veil, espoused neutrality and insulated themselves in the forests of Elheim. Yet those in Bastorius did not possess such luxury. Instead, they forged a powerful crystal capable of transforming their bodies into those of colossal beasts.
Astrals. But they could turn themselves back, right?
Such a technique did exist, yes. Though, unfortunately, it has long been lost to the passage of time.
Should have guessed as much.
Still, Zenoira must have had some reason for wanting the stone so bad. Even though they didn't use their mind control to try and get it.
I suspect you allude to the rite of channeling. As I understand it, Vestral physiology is far too distinct to house a human soul, making the rite a futile venture. In its place, they likely sought the crystal for its similar mastery over the hearts of your race.
Okay, so they couldn't use the brainwashing technique on the Bestrals because of their physiology, but with the Pistorius Blue, they can control them, that's why.
All in the grand hopes of bridling the same strength they failed to overcome so many years prior.
Some story this thing's got.
Now, we lack the time for further conversation. Allow me to imbue your ring with the power of cleansing. Use it well, and bring an end to Galerius's cruel ambitions. Your will is mine own, righteous Prince of Cornea.
The ring's gotten stronger, Elaine. I can feel it.
Ringbearer, the Sanctuaries of Fevris further seek your call. Deliver your presence unto each in turn, that we may aid you when the fated time arrives.
What brilliant light! Look, the power of cleansing has taken physical form. It looks to be quite an impressive armament as well, one which we must be sure to make proper use of. Now then, we've still 2 sanctuaries remaining. Let us be off. I wonder who joins me for Albion. It's probably Senatio, because like the people that join you are characters that join you as part of the plot, right? And in Albion, only Senatio is technically mandatory, because everyone else is technically a side quest. Oh, or just no one, I guess.
I'll start by offering a prayer to the Sanctuary.
He who bears the ring of the unicorn, present its grandeur before me. Progeny of the late Pontifex Errant, you have done well in guiding the Savior to this sacred hall.
You know of me?
I do. Your father, under compulsion of Baltro's magic, destroyed the seal sheltered upon these grounds. A regrettable fate indeed.
Shio, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello, welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Let's give you a shout out. Please go check out Shio a Victoria, an amazing streamer with a really unique jellyfish design. Also an amazing artist that draws a lot of their own assets and designs, which is really, really cool. Also a cool gamer. Please go check him out. How are you doing? What were you playing today? Inventory management is hard. I agree. I agree. That applies to a lot of games. Hey, awesome guy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the warm welcome back. Yes, I had a great time on my trip, but I'm happy to be streaming again. I missed you guys. I'm Kiro, the frog-themed martial artist. We're playing some Unicorn Overlord, doing some kind of like last exposition before we get to the final boss, who we will not be fighting today. But you're welcome to stick around and hang out with us, or go take care of yourself after your stream. Oh, you're playing some FF14? Inventory management in that game is always... I'm a hoarder too, so I totally get it. Hope you're able to have some fun today. And for any of you stopping by, I'm going to keep plugging this, but if you have a Final Fantasy XIV character, I'm doing a community night in a couple weeks where we're going to be sharing our Final Fantasy XIV characters on stream, and we'll be complimenting them, talking about them, discussing them, and also doing a fun little kind of tier list thing. So if you're interested in that, check out the tweet linked here, or share it and tell your friends. I'd love to look at more people's original characters. I really like looking at people's original characters. Thanks for the raid, Shio. I really appreciate it. Again, go check out Shio when you get the chance.
Excuse me the question, wise sage. Why is it that those of the pontifical lineage are able to break the sanctuary seals?
'Tis a tale even older than the orthodoxy itself.
But that's over 800 years.
Indeed. I speak of ancient Zenoira and their sorcerer's quest for might beyond mortal bounds. A pursuit which brought them to Palavia and the holy power of the almighty Unicorn. Enraptured by its supreme brilliance, they began to experiment, using the citizens of Albion as their subjects. In time, those experiments birthed a new race entirely. The population you know as angels.
The angels were just experiments?
That's not possible.
Yet their only distinguishing feature were the wings on their backs, a mark of failure for the sorcerers who conceived them. The experiments continued unceasingly, but only one success emerged. A man capable of divine wonder.
The Pontifex?
The first Pontifex.
Yes, and the gift he bore was the means to lay wandering souls to eternal rest.
But how does that relate to the seals?
The purpose of Everth's Sanctuaries is twofold. The first is to soothe the vengeful spirits of old Zenoira. The second is to accumulate an energy most sacred, the power of cleansing. Galerius impelled your father to set loose the souls bound to the sanctum, to break its seal as you know it. In so doing, he divested these grounds of one of their vital duties. But the other, the power of cleansing housed within, still remains undefiled by wicked intent.
My father must have foreseen the breaking of the seals all those years ago.
Which explains why he asked you to one day guide me here. To impart the power of cleansing upon my ring, so that we may stop Galerius before it's too late.
Your will is mine own, righteous Prince of Cornea.
The ring's gotten stronger, Elaine. I can feel it.
Ringbearer, the Sanctuaries of Everth further seek your call. Deliver your presence unto each in turn, that we may aid you when the fated time arrives.
What brilliant light! Look, the power of cleansing has taken physical form. It looks to be quite an impressive armament as well, one which we must be sure to make proper use of. Now then, we've only one sanctuary remaining, let us be off. I wonder if I'm doing them in... I mean, I could do them in any order, but I wonder if this is like the canonical order, or if I should have done the Zenoiran one after I did the Cornea one. Probably doesn't really matter. Last one.
I'll start by offering a prayer to the Sanctuary.
He who bears the ring of the Unicorn, present its grandeur before me. Your efforts are commendable indeed. I shall grant you my might, that Galerius's ambitions may at last be foiled.
If you'll allow me a question first. Galerius asserts himself Emperor of the fallen Zenoiran Empire, but I wonder, do his claims ring true?
They do. He is a man dangerous beyond all reason or belief. In truth, Zenoira's people were not born on Fevrith soil, but hail from another continent beyond the great seas. Their populace enjoyed countless years of peace and prosperity, ushered in by magical advancements of the highest order. Yet, after a contested succession sparked civil war, the very magic which once enhanced their lives now stole them away instead. And by the day Galerius emerged victorious, Zenoira was naught but barren wastes, inhabited chiefly by the corpses of the damned. Faced with such cold conclusion, most would have considered him a king absent a kingdom. Yet Galerius would not be denied his reign. Mustering what few pitiful subjects remained in the realm of the living, he set off to seize a new shore as his own, Fevrith.
Then the ancient Zenoira we're familiar with was actually an invading army from a far-off continent.
The modest fiefdoms which dotted Fevrith could but thrash and flail beneath Galerius's insurmountable might. Only Elheim, shielded by the boughs of the divine Erhelda, was spared utter decimation.
If that same conqueror now blights our lands as well, can we assume General Valmor was possessed by his soul?
I don't believe we can. An energy so ineffably evil likely derives from something else entirely.
How do you mean?
Were he merely revived through the rite of channeling, slaying the host would banish his soul back to the frigid gates of the beyond. Yet, to judge by the monstrous aura surrounding him, I fear the task far too great for such crude methodology. No matter the truth of it, Galerius must be stopped.
See, I was thinking that too, that it must be like Valmor got possessed by Galerius, but if that's not the case, then I guess that's a mystery we're gonna find out when we confront him.
And the power of cleansing housed within these walls shall hearten that pursuit. 'Tis yours, should you but accept it. Your will is mine own, righteous Prince of Cornea.
The ring's gotten stronger, Elaine. I can feel it.
Ringbearer, your pilgrimage is fulfilled, and so too is the ring of the Unicorn. Deliver your presence unto the decisive conflict, that we may aid you when the fated time arrives.
Okay, so that should be the flag for the good ending. What brilliant light. I got a brooch for that one. Heal 20% HP when using an active skill. Affliction immunity. Look, the power of cleansing has taken physical form. It looks to be quite an impressive armament as well, one which we must be sure to make proper use of. That should be the last of the Sanctuaries too. Now that we're done, I can feel a potent sacred energy radiating from your ring. Then all that remains is the final battle. Let us make for Grand Corinne and topple Galerius once and for all. Let's go to this town. Again, we'll just save on one slot, in case we ever want to go back and see more rites of the Unicorn, which apparently we can undo. Interesting, we got all this exposition here, and like I explained, I understand why they did it this way, because the game direction is non-linear, even though most people would play it in a linear way. So they had to kind of put the exposition like that, but I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it. I also kind of wish that, like, the Albion Sanctuary had someone with us, like Senatio at least. It makes sense for Elaine and Scarlet alone to be in the Cordian one and the Zenoiran one. Although it would have been nice to maybe have, like, I don't know, Joseph with us or something like that. And it would have been nice if the person you selected for the ritual was also present, even if all they do is say, like, one speech bubble that is not really relevant to anything, because it really feels like an arbitrary decision, right? Once you know, do the rite of the Unicorn and the Maiden, it doesn't really matter who you do it with. Now you can just go around and go to all the Sanctuaries. I wish there was, I don't know, a little more. But again, I get it. This game was, you know, running on a budget at the end, and they weren't able to probably iron out everything that they wanted. So I'll forgive them for that, but it is a little unfortunate. Hey, it's Kiro from the future here. I decided that I would go back and do a few more rites of the Unicorn and Maiden off stream, just to add them to the VOD for fun. So if you're watching this on YouTube, here's a little bonus for you. And I was kind of curious how some of them went, but I'm not going to watch all of them. So let's do them with some of the characters that I like. So I loaded up the save file. So Lex is kind of my favorite character to go with Elaine, but I also really like Travis. Let's do Travis's and see how that one goes.
It's funny. I've spent some time looking into the legends about the Unicorn, and I don't know. I just don't see where I fit in.
I won't bother doing the sorry there was a mistakes for all these characters.
I'd like you to have the ring of the Maiden.
Sorry, do I look like a maiden to you?
Again, they should have picked a gender-neutral term.
It doesn't matter what you look like. I ask this covenant not for your appearance, but your strength.
Could have said that sooner, don't you think? Still, seems like a pretty big decision. Not the kind of thing you want to discuss standing up. Let's sit. Now, if swearing this oath is really how we beat Zenoira, well, I'll be expecting a nice, cushy job in your court to make up for it.
I like how he says, let's sit, but then they take a knee.
Simply name the position and it's yours.
Uh-huh. You know that means there'll be no getting rid of me, right?
I don't mind. I couldn't think of a greater friend to have at my side. So please, Travis, this right is all that I desire, even should our war efforts ultimately fall short.
Don't even talk about losing. It's not gonna happen. But I can tell you're serious about this. Now come on, hand that ring over.
It's an honor, truly.
Guess that was it then. Oh, and I think I mentioned, I really love reading. So once this is all over, maybe we can build ourselves a library.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
A huge one, with books hailing from every corner of Fevrith. A place I can get lost in for days on end.
That sounds wonderful. You'll have to save me a seat beside you.
I'll just skip this dialogue since we saw that before. I think personally, if I had to choose a partner for myself in this game, I'd pick Travis over Lex, even though I like them both. I think Lex goes better with Elaine. Personally, I like Travis because I think I like the idea of him also liking to read, and he's also pretty smart. While Lex is like quintessential best friend material, at least in my opinion. Okay, we'll just load up the save file again. Now, next to Lex and Travis, I do like Adol, even though he doesn't really get as much screen time, or he's kind of portrayed as a little goofy. I like him. Maybe it's just because he's voiced by Bryce Papenbrook and has that Tales of Arise Law energy.
You wanted to speak with me, Your Highness.
I'd like you to have the Ring of the Maiden.
I really prefer Adol's first outfit, though, instead of his promoted one.
Really? Are you sure I'm worthy of it?
Yes, and so much beyond it as well. There's no man I trust more in this world than you, Adol. But I won't force the matter. The decision to accept it or not lies solely on your shoulders.
Please, Your Highness. You needn't look so downcast. This is an immense honor, and one I would be a fool to refuse. It's merely, I've never received such an offer from another man before. It's only natural it would paralyze me a moment.
Apologies, Adol. I took our friendship for granted and failed to consider how you might feel. So let me ask the question anew. Will you accept this ring and join me in covenant that I might bear the full strength of the Unicorn?
That's how you meant it. But of course, Your Highness. I'll endure any task for the sake of our nation.
Wait, so did Adol assume that Elaine meant something more romantic, but then Elaine corrected himself and meant that he meant something more for awakening the powers of the Unicorn? That's kind of mean.
Our covenant is sworn. Will you stand beside me through the trials ahead, my friend?
As if you even have to ask. I won't leave your side, Your Highness.
That was a little more straightforward, I think. You'll also have to excuse me, I'm still recovering from my cold, but since this is being recorded the day after, I haven't done some vocal warm-up, so my throat is still a little bit eh. Okay, let's do... You know what? Let's do Berengaria. Let's pick a girl. I do like Berengaria. She's pretty cool. I would feel bad taking her away from Travis, though, even though they're like... They have like a sibling relationship, but I feel like I don't want to get between that, you know?
No thanks.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't even said anything yet. I'd like you to have the Ring of the Maiden.
I knew it. And, yeah. Not interested.
Why not?
I've heard the stories from Rosalinda. Breaking this oath comes at a heavy cost. And there's no guarantee I won't turn on you. Or you on me.
Oh, there's actually like a second dialogue option.
I would never do that.
Once this war is done and buried, I'll be back in Drakenholt where I belong. And you know what my people think of Cornea. Things go sideways, we'll be at each other's throats before we know it. Try putting a little more thought into this, yeah?
Wait, is she actually turning me down? Was I supposed to pick the other thing? Actually? Berengaria, was I supposed to pick the second option? Excuse me?
No thanks.
But I haven't even said anything yet. I'd like you to have the Ring of the Maiden.
I knew it. And, yeah. Not interested.
Why not?
I've heard the stories from Rosalinda. Breaking this oath comes at a heavy cost. And there's no guarantee I won't turn on you. Or you on me.
Then we'll face those consequences together. We could live 100 lives, and I would pick you every time.
Okay, that's obviously a better option now that he says the whole thing out loud.
That's some risk you're taking. If what they say about your unicorn and its tradition is true, this covenant represents the strongest bond imaginable. The sacred kind. Or severing it might just cost your life.
I'll bear any danger should it mean spending that life with you. Marry me, Berengaria.
Oh, so he does say the word marry if it's a girl.
As stunning as you are now, you'll look even more so in the pure white of a wedding dress.
You're really something, you know that?
Oh no, I think she'd look better in like a nice white suit, personally. I mean, your decision, Berengaria.
But I'm not complaining. The answer's yes, by the way.
I love you, now and always.
And I hope you're ready to put up with me for the rest of your life.
Whoa, this animation's new. We haven't seen this before.
Your laughter, your tears, your pain. I'm here for all of it.
Oh! Well, that is way more romantic and outright than the male ones. Okay, so that's kind of how they go. I see. I kind of want to try it with Tatiana. Again, I like her as a character, not really so much as marriage material. She has an interesting story, but I'm kind of curious how she would react to this.
A fine place you have here. What's the meaning of this?
I'd like you to have the Ring of the Maiden.
I knew you were a strange one from the moment we met. I've been an outcast my entire life. Reviled, shunned by the world. But you and Lord Ghislaine greeted me with acceptance, not hate.
I merely did what I felt was right.
Then tell me, what happens once you give me the ring?
First, we bring Zenoira's reign to an end. You and I, together. After that, I could entice you back to Cornea. Perhaps as the royal physician.
Wait, you didn't say the rest of the sentence out loud.
Looking to keep me as close as possible, I see. Are you sure you're ready for all that entails?
I've never been readier for anything. This ring is proof of that.
I can think of no greater way to observe your death than to stand with you in life.
Tatiana, okay.
Just know that I'm not giving it back, even if you change your mind years in the future.
I thought that she would be more resistant to this than Berengaria, but it was the other way around.
nor could I ever want you to.
And Elaine, maybe forget what I've said about that dying business. I don't think I could bear losing you.
That was actually a sweet conclusion. I thought she would continue with the whole, like, I'm just here to watch you die, haha. Now, I have a lot of friends that like Magellan. And I get it, because the male sellsword sprites are pretty handsome and strong. So I guess like him and Jeremy both fit that, but I think between the two of them, a lot more people like Magellan because he's, well, nicer than Jeremy. So let's see what happens with Magellan.
Never seen somewhere so nice and green before. A place like this would have been choked by sand years ago, back where I'm from.
I'd like you to have the Ring of the Maiden.
And what's this ring mean to you?
Consider it proof that I trust you above all others.
Now give me your ear for a sec. I've got some words I want you to hear.
Ooh.
I'm listening.
Do we get to hear? Or is it gonna be like a whisper that we don't get to hear?
If you hadn't come along when you did, I might well have been stuck a puppet for the rest of my damned life. Could have ended up kicking the old dirt can before I ever saw Liza again. Or my friends. But here I am, still standing, breathing, living. And it's all thanks to you.
I only did what I felt was right.
Yep, and that's exactly why I trust you back. More than anyone else ever could. So I'll be taking that ring now. We got a world to save. And a desert, too.
I knew I was right to pick you, Magellan.
I guess that's it then. Sorry, boss. But you're stuck with me for good.
No apologies necessary. It's an honor, Magellan. And thank you.
Okay, again, I like the way that a lot of the male ones go. I kind of like keeping them about, like, kind of slightly on the more platonic side, more about loyalty than it is about, like, strictly marriage. But again, I get people that wanted something a little bit more out of it, especially having seen what Berengaria's turned out like. Like, I'm sure a lot of people would have preferred to, you know, have them say the word marriage and actually kiss and stuff like that too, which totally understandable. Okay, I want to do at least one more. I'm actually really curious about this one. I want to try with Senatio, just to see what he says, because again, I think he's an interesting character, even though I don't think they handled him very well. And a lot of people don't like him, for a very good reason, I think. I also follow an artist that draws a lot of, well, not a lot of, but a fair amount of Elaine with Senatio, so I was curious about him even before we recruited him. Look, he's walking.
A time-worn altar of Palladian provenance, inherently linked to the Orthodoxy's doctrine. I must admit, I can't help but marvel at its presence. Am I truly the one you wish to summon here?
I'd like you to have the Ring of the Maiden.
Then, my being here is not mere happenstance. Yet I am little more than a wicked sinner, forever tarnished by my transgressions against the Church. Reluctant though I am to refuse our Savior's request, the most sacred of rites warrants a finer partner than I.
I kind of figured he would take this kind of angle.
You've clearly thought much on your misdeeds, and labored tirelessly to unmake their harms. all while dutifully serving as my trusted guardian. But despite those endeavors, it appears you're unwilling to actually forgive yourself.
'Tis as you say. What's more, should a man of my character be chosen over others more worthy, our army's morale will surely suffer.
Allow me a proposal then. Join me and help deliver this world the salvation it seeks. I can think of no greater way to atone for your sins.
But...
And should we emerge victorious, you may return to Albion not as a father scorned, but one absolved. Your congregation will welcome you back with open arms. I'm certain of it.
What have I done to deserve such kindness? You seek to redeem not only Fevrith, but me as well.
What kind of savior would I be otherwise?
I've finally come to understand the unshakable trust Lady Scarlet bears for you. The reason she and so many others would stand beside you through even the harshest of storms. Divine Savior, I wish to honor your request. Pray, rest the ring upon my palm.
Thank you for this, Senatio.
No matter what evils the future may hold, I shall ever rise to oppose their reign. Our hands, together as one, shall deliver peace and tranquility to this desperate world. And once they do, I promise to live anew. An existence reborn, rejoicing in the heavenly warmth of those we've saved.
That was actually a kind of a good ending, or like closure, for Senatio's story. Which again, unfortunately you only get this if you pick him, which most people would not. Actually, I wonder if this game actually has like individual character endings. I guess we'll see. Okay, let's just do a couple more just to kind of round it out. Again, I'm not gonna choose everyone, but we'll pick some characters I kind of like more. I also like Chloe. I think she's pretty cool. And she does also have like the childhood best friend thing going on.
Is there something I can help you with, Your Majesty?
I'd like you to have the ring of the maiden.
I had a feeling that might be why you asked me here, but I don't know. There must be someone else who deserves it more than I do.
It looks kind of strange to see Chloe standing without her spear.
I'm meant to give this ring to whomever I trust most. And when I paused to think who that may be, yours was the first and only face that crossed my mind.
Really?
You know, you can just tell me if you're not interested. Apologies, that's not how I meant to phrase it. What I truly wish to say is, your presence is what gives me the strength to march on day after day.
You would be doing this whether I'm here or not, and you know it.
But...
I'm sick of seeing you like this, Elaine. All these years, I've watched you grow more and more into the ideal prince. But I know that's not who you really are. So cut the act. At least when you're with me. I'll do it. Swear the oath, I mean.
Thank you, Chloe.
But only if I can spend more time with you. The real you. I'm serious.
That means the world to me. Truly.
You'll have to prove it then. Let's see how good you are at dropping that princely mask of yours.
I shall endeavor to do so in all that I am.
That's what I'm talking about.
But weren't Chloe's reports all about, like, she had trouble distinguishing between how she should act between Elaine as a friend and Elaine as a prince? And now she's suddenly like, I know you're not really prince-like. I know there's another side of your personality. I want to get to know better. I don't know, it just seems a little... It seems like in character, but also a little bit out of character. Like, it would be more in character if they actually built towards that a little bit more. Yeah, let's do one more for good measure. I do like Liza too, but let's do it with Amalia, since we worked so hard to get her. And she's pretty cool. And we also don't know much about her. She is so big. Like, her shield, too.
What is it, Prince? You're gonna get a girl's hopes up asking her to a place like this.
Someone posted a video of the Elaine Amalia proposal on YouTube, but they edited the thumbnail to make Amalia like twice as large, so Elaine's head like only goes up to like halfway up her thigh. And I saw that thumbnail, and this was like before I recruited Amalia, and I hadn't seen her for like months, right? Because we spread out playing this game. So I was like, she wasn't that tall, was she? And then I realized the thumbnail was edited.
I'd like you to have the ring of the maiden.
It's a cute little thing, isn't it? Wonder if it'll even fit on my finger.
Does that mean you accept?
Under one condition. And I think you know what that's gonna be.
It's too bad that the class archive in this game only... Like, you could see all the character sprites and play their animations, but only battle animations, because some characters actually have like unique out-of-battle cutscene animations, and I wish you could see those too. Like this. Pose for Amalia.
A test of might. That explains why you asked me to bring a sword.
Or for characters like Elaine who are mounted, to see more of their sprites when they're not mounted.
And should I win, I get to request anything I wish. That was the bargain, yes?
Yep. Doesn't matter if it's a ring or a rejection. I'll take whatever you've got.
Very well then. I'll have to show you how I feel through martial prowess.
Let's see it!
It seems I've won.
Sure does. That was great. Just what I'd expect from a man looking to be my partner. I'll take that ring now. Might not fit on my finger, but I can wear it around my neck, no problem.
I think your neck is thicker than your finger, girl. I know what she means. I know she means turning it into a necklace. I'm just making a joke.
Thank you, Amalia.
It's nothing. You know, you're the strongest man I've ever met. Strong enough to dethrone the champ. So you better not go giving that crown to anyone else. At least, not if you want me sticking around.
For you, I'll fell any foe. I promise you that. And so much more.
So even among the girls, there's like different levels of romance involved. Like Berengaria's, they like kiss, and it even says the word like marry. Tatiana was a little bit less romantic, but still had the same idea. And then Amalia's was a little bit more like, you know, respect for each other's martial prowess kind of thing. Okay, so again, if you want to see more of the Rite of the Unicorn and the Maiden, people have posted them on YouTube, or I would recommend playing the game for yourself. But with that, the end is finally in sight. So with our next stream, which will probably be Wednesday, we're gonna finish this game once and for all, for good. And I'm looking forward to it, even though at the same time, I really enjoy playing this game, so it kind of sucks that we're gonna be finished it, and I don't really feel the need to play through this game again on a higher difficulty or anything like that, but it was really fun. Although there is some post-game stuff that we will also do on probably Friday. So there's still a little bit more yet to come. And for those of you new around here, well, it's been a while, but feel free to check out my other social media. My YouTube channel has all my previous VODs on it. If you want to check out other games I've played, including RPGs, mystery games, action games, puzzle games, fighting games, you name it. There's something for everyone. Or keep up to date with my Twitter for updates on streaming schedules and other community events. Thanks for coming by, everyone. Thank you so much for all the raids. Thank you so much for the subs, the bits, everything. It's good to be back. I'm glad to be streaming again after that absence. I'm glad to see you guys again. I'm glad to be gaming. And thank you so much for making me feel welcome. I wonder if anyone is actually streaming at this hour that we can raid. I don't usually stream this late. Let's see. Looks like a few people streaming. Okay, let's say hi to my friend Shin. He's playing some Honkai Star Rail. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Rocky friends. Bye-bye.